Hey, this is a video about learning French in Togo and Benin. In 2018, I spent 6 months combined in Togo and Benin learning and improving my French. In this video, I'm going to talk about the countries, then in a follow-up video, talk specifically about different ways to travel to West Africa and learn French. Full disclaimer, I am neither an expert in Togo or Benin or in the French language. I'm simply a person who likes to travel and wanted to learn a second language. There are over 20 countries in Africa speaking French to some degree. West Africa is an area with a high concentration of French-speaking countries. In this video, I'm only going to be talking about Togo and Benin, as those are the only two Francophone countries in West Africa I have been to and studied French. Before I left on this trip, many people I spoke with were apprehensive that this would be a good place to learn French because they thought maybe the quality of French would be bad, full of slang, or that French wouldn't be as widely spoken throughout the countries, but I can say none of these were issues. In Benin and Togo, the common language is French, as it is for much of West Africa. Typically, people will learn their local language in their household or neighborhood. Then afterwards, at a young age, will learn French. Some people speak many African languages, but will speak French as well. There are hundreds of languages spoken in West Africa, thus the reason people are still speaking French as a common language. Primary, secondary, and post-secondary schools are taught in French. The quality of French spoken is very good, especially among younger people. Togo and Benin are using guidelines from France, so you don't have to worry that you might be learning a different type of French. All the grammar and words will be the same. There's a little bit of African slang, but besides that, the only big difference is the accent, which I find much easier to understand. One thing to keep in mind if you're planning a trip is where to stay within the countries. This can actually make a big difference. For example, when I was staying in Togo, I stayed in a mountainous town called Palamé. In Palamé, there wasn't a big diversity of language, so although people could speak French, most people were usually speaking a local language called Ewe. Compare that to a town called Parakou I stayed at in Benin, where there were so many different languages you almost only ever heard French being spoken, so everybody could communicate with each other. That being said, it was still super easy to find lots of fluent people speaking French in Palamé to practice with. I think Togo and Benin are great places to learn French. Both are peaceful countries with very friendly people and French speakers everywhere. Both countries as well have reasonable visa policies. Togo does visa on arrival at the borders and airport, and Benin sells an e-visa online. Make sure to double check their visa policy for your country, and if you booked a flight, double check with your flight carrier that they will be satisfied with the visa you are getting. Togo and Benin are also very inexpensive countries. You can book a cheap hotel from anywhere from $6 to $12 a night. You can get street food for as little as 17 cents to a few dollars. A quick ride on a Zem motorbike taxi can be as little as 17 cents up to $1 or $2 for longer rides. $2 will carry you very far in a Zem. As well as hiring a French teacher can be very affordable too. For example, in Togo, I hired a certified French teacher to give me 2-hour lessons 5 days a week, and it cost only $35 for the entire month. In Benin, I hired another teacher, same schedule, 5 days a week, 2 hours a day, and it came out to be about $80 a month. I would say that there's not a significant price difference between Togo and Benin, but prices can vary, because it comes down to your negotiating skills, who you're dealing with, your situation. Everything is negotiable. A great time to hire a French teacher is during summer break. Another thing to mention about Togo and Benin is that they can seem a bit more daunting to travel than somewhere like Europe. For experienced travelers, you should be just fine. For inexperienced travelers, this may be a bit of a challenge at first. For example, if you arrive in Togo, you'll find that there are plenty of hotels, but there are no hostels. It can be hard to run into the small amount of travelers going through Togo. Benin is a little better in this regard, with more traffic, 2 hostel/guest houses in Cotonou, where you can usually meet other foreign travelers. Neither country really has a large tourism market. Benin seems to get more travelers, or foreign people, although both countries have a large amount of foreign NGOs. You can meet many Germans, French, and Belgians working for the NGOs, volunteers, or doing internships, as well as American Peace Corps members. An important note as well is that I always felt safe in these countries, but please do your own research. Having a travel buddy could be a great idea. Also, neither country has a high level of people speaking English, so speaking some small level of French when you arrive would be ideal. Most people you encounter will only be able to communicate with you in French, which is a great thing because it forces you to practice. You don't absolutely need to speak French when you arrive though, it'll just make your life easier. Speaking French will make traveling around much easier as well as negotiating for things. In the following videos, I'm going to go into further detail about how you can go about going to Togo and Benin and get set up to learn French.